Joining me now, Diane Abbott, Labour's Shadow Secretary of State for International Development, and I think fair to say, on the Corbyn wing of the party. Very good evening to you. So much to talk about. What an interesting 3 days. Let's just clarify the rules of engagement, because there was a rather odd contradiction today. Hilary Benn said, I think he said he's going to go on exactly as before. John McDonnell described what sounded like a change in the rules of engagement. I just wonder where you stand on that.
I mean, first of all, you have to remember that Jeremy has never been more popular with party members. And I think what party members want to see is a shadow cabinet, the people at the top of the party, reflecting the views of the party. What happened over Syria was that Hilary Benn was reflecting his own views. The majority of the PLP, the majority of the shadow cabinet voted with Jeremy. So what is being asked is not unusual. It's just a measure of collective responsibility.
So has something changed for the way Hilary Benn has to behave, or has nothing changed?
I think party members would like to think that when Hilary Benn gets up at the dispatch box, he will be reflecting the policies of the Labour Party. And in that sense, that's what it should always have been.
So let's just pretend that the Syria vote was being held next week and the debate was being held next week. Just take me through how different it would be. There wouldn't be a free vote on Syria, because the last time it was a free vote. You could say what you wanted.
I see
where would you go on that now?
There's no merit in reliving history. What we've done is we've learnt from the Syria vote, and what we're clear about as a team is we don't want a rerun of a position where the Shadow Foreign Secretary is not reflecting the views of the party. It's quite straightforward.
But there was a free vote. There was a free vote, so that's why you had a free vote, because there wasn't agreement.
It's a free vote, but there's all the difference in the world from me on the backbenches exercising my free vote and the Shadow Foreign Secretary getting up in front of the dispatch box and saying things which don't reflect the views of the party.
Well, OK, can Hilary Benn now speak in favour of Trident?
Well, it depends what party policy is.
Well, the party policy was set by the conference. It's
yes, but as you know, Evan, we're about to review party policy.
So he can't speak in favour of Trident now? You don't seem clear. I mean,
no,
it's
I'm perfectly
clear.
I'm perfectly clear. What the party looks for is a team at the top of the party that reflects Labour Party policy.
Well, with respect, what the party looks for isn't materially... But what are the rules? There are rules of engagement between the shadow cabinet members that are slightly different to the rules that govern normal cabinet, because there's some new politics, right? There isn't always collective...
I'm in the shadow cabinet. There are no written rules.
Right.
What party members are tired of MPs...
Keep back to the members.
Because that's what the Labour Party's about, Evan. You, with the greatest respect, it's possible to get obsessed with all this Westminster hyperventilating and forgetting what it's about. It's about the Labour Party, and it's about people... turning their guns on the Tories and not this constant attacking the leadership.
I hear what you're saying. So you were saying Hilary Benn cannot argue in favour of Trident, even though arguably it is Labour Party policy.
No,
he can't argue in favour of it because the members don't like it. We know the members don't like it.
This is going round and round.
But that's what you've just been saying.
No,
you said the members want something different.
I said we're reviewing our policy.
Right.
And depending on what the conclusions of the review is, then we will expect our frontbench team to reflect Labour Party policy at that point.
Jeremy Corbyn, if the review says replacing Trident is a good idea, Jeremy Corbyn will fall into line with that. The top
team will be bound by Labour Party policy. It always is.
So can you imagine Jeremy Corbyn arguing in favour of Trident?
But can you imagine anybody querying Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, Ed Miliband as to whether they were willing to reflect the views of the Labour Party?
Look, most of the shadow cabinet are in favour of Trident. The members are not in favour of Trident. Doesn't your party have a really deep and significant problem?
No, we don't.
Because if your leading lights, the people who've risen to the top, if they simply don't agree with the members, and you're saying, well, the members are entitled to their view being... How does it work? How is it going to work?
You're buying into this kind of Westminster obsessive stuff.
But I'm wondering whether all those people in the shadow cabinet, including people like Tom Watson, I expect, whether they are expected to say stuff they don't believe because the members want them to.
Everyone in the shadow cabinet is a Democrat. Everyone in the shadow cabinet is a member of the Labour Party.
And they're all a free spirit and a free mind and intelligent people who come to review.
To go through review of policy. When we arrive at a policy, we'll all speak to that policy. It's quite straightforward. That's how the parties always work.
Did you answer the one about can Hilary Benn speak in favour of Trident tomorrow?
We are in the middle of reviewing policy.
So you can't.
It's not about... know,
isn't about it.
No, Evan. We're facing a massively incompetent, uncaring Tory government, and you want to take me round and round these kind of Westminster quibbles.
I'm actually not.
Instead of answering the question, actually, what do party members want? They want us to turn our guns on the Tories. Why this constant hyperventilating about Jeremy?
Right. Well, if they want you to turn your guns on the Tories, John McDonnell today, in an interview on Channel 4 News, was talking about the hard right in the party. I mean, there's an argument going on in your party, isn't there? And neither side, you nor the other side, seems able to put down the weapons and say, let's just have a truce, let's shut up talking to each other and talk about the Tories.
I'm not attacking people as people. I would say this, though, about the people that have resigned and so on. Kevin Jones, I consider him a friend. I don't agree with him on hardly anything, but he's a great guy and knows an enormous amount about defence, and I think he's a big loss. But when you look at some of the other people, if you look at Jonathan Reynolds, if you look at Mr. Duggar, if you look at some of these others, what do they have in common? They're all former special advisors. And what you're seeing is people that came up under a certain system where you did politics at uni, you became a special advisor, you became an MP, you became a minister, who are rightfully upset because Jeremy's brought a whole lot of new energy and new people into politics.
What's so interesting about your answer was, I was putting to you the fact that neither side in the argument in your party can put down weapons and stop arguing. You said, yes, we need to turn our fire on the Tories, and immediately turned your fire on your colleagues or former colleagues. It's impossible, and you can't help yourselves.
No, I'm saying to you, it's not a left-right dichotomy.
It is a left-right dichotomy.
No, it's not, because there are plenty of people on the right in politics who would like to see many more authentic people at the top of politics who haven't necessarily just been special advisors.
Understood.
That isn't a left-right dichotomy.
Quick one. Briefing. I mean, you heard the accusation from Ian Austin in the piece about, senior colleagues of Jeremy Corbyn briefing against other colleagues. Do you believe that has been going on? No. You don't?
I don't believe it's been going on.
And if it had been going on and we had evidence of that, would you believe that is seriously disloyal and people who've been doing it should step aside?
The idea that the people that do comms for the leader of the Labour Party never brief is clearly absurd. But what Ian Austin is trying to suggest is something excessive and sinister and wrong has been going on, and that's simply not true. Just as Tony Blair, just as Gordon Brown, there are people who give off-the-record briefings, people like yourself. But Ian Austin's inference that this is all somehow very sinister and very dreadful is quite wrong.
We should have a word for Maria Eagle. Of course, she does believe in Trident, incidentally.
Yes, of course.
Was she removed because of that, or was it for some other reason? Was it some other?
I wasn't privy to those discussions.
What do you think? Come on, I think you have an idea.
I wasn't. Jeremy is a very kind and thoughtful person. That's why his reshuffle took so long, because he spoke to people at length. He's now found Maria a fantastic brief.
But basically, most people
she's got a fantastic brief.
Most people believe
and
it
she's
was
happy
because she believed in Trident, which actually is existing is a policy, and so she's the first person sacked from a cabinet because she believes in the state's party policy.
People believe a lot of things. You're going to have to ask Maria. But the truth is, Jeremy has the very strong support of the party in the country, and they want us to do what we're in Parliament to do, which is attack the Tories.
It's been said by the Corbynista side of the party that Maria Eagle is very happy with the move.
It's a great brief.
Is that right, or is that just sort of based on hope, or...?
It's a great brief. What's not to like? What did David Mellor call it?
Ministry for Fun. She's been very reticent about saying she's delighted to move.
You need to have her on and ask her, but it is a great brief.
Diane Abbott, always a pleasure. Thanks very much.